For almost a century, we taught our children that the map of the solar system was complete. We learned about the rocky inner worlds like Earth and Mars. Huddled close to the fire of the sun, we learned about the gas giants like Jupiter and Saturn, the kings of the neighborhood. And we learned about the icy dwarfs like Pluto, guarding the gates to the great unknown. We drew lines around the sun and said, this is it. This is our home. We have mapped the territory. But what if we were wrong? What if the map we have been using is only half the story? What if hiding in the absolute darkness beyond the reach of our telescopes, there is another world, a massive, silent giant that has been stalking our sun for billions of years? This isn't a conspiracy theory. This is an ancient mythology. This is a ghost story told by gravity itself. And right now, the world's most powerful astronomers are in a race to find it before it disappears into the void again. This is the search for Planet 9. To understand why scientists are so convinced this object exists, we have to look at how we find things in the dark. In astronomy, you don't always see things with your eyes first. Sometimes, you feel them. In the 1840s, astronomers noticed that Uranus, the farthest known planet at the time, was behaving strangely. Its orbit wasn't following the path that Newton's laws of gravity predicted. It was speeding up and slowing down at the wrong times, as if an invisible hand was tugging on it. A French mathematician named Urbain Le Verrier sat down, not with a telescope, but with a pen and paper. He calculated where that invisible hand should be. He sent a letter to an observatory in Berlin saying, "Point your telescope at this exact coordinate." They did, and that very night they found Neptune. They discovered an entire world using nothing but math. Today, history is repeating itself. But this time, the scale is terrifyingly larger. The clues for Planet 9 didn't come from a planet. They came from the debris field at the edge of our system known as the Kuiper Belt. This is a vast ring of frozen rocks, comets, and dwarf planets beyond Neptune. It's a chaotic, icy junkyard. For years, we thought the objects out there drifted randomly, leftovers from the formation of the solar system. But when astronomers began mapping the orbits of the most distant, extreme objects, rocks with names like Sedna, the Goblin, and Biden, they noticed something impossible. These objects weren't random, they were clustered. Their orbits were all tilted in the same strange way, and they were all swung out to one side of the solar system, like a flock of birds turning in unison against a strong wind. The chances of this clustering happening by accident are roughly 1 in 15,000. In physics, that is statistically impossible. When you see a pattern like that, you know something is creating it. You know there is a shepherd in the dark. Simulations showed that for these objects to move this way, they had to be reacting to the gravity of something massive, something powerful, something capable of shepherding entire worlds into line with its gravity alone. When they ran the models, only one solution fit the data perfectly: a hidden planet, a super-Earth, an object roughly 10 times the mass of our world, orbiting so far away that it makes Pluto look like it's in our backyard. This hypothetical Planet 9 is an absolute monster of the deep. If it's real, its orbit is so vast that it takes between 10,000 and 20,000 years to complete a single trip around the sun. Think about that time frame. The last time this planet was in this part of its orbit, humans were just inventing agriculture. Pyramids didn't exist. Written language didn't exist. It has a year longer than the entire history of human civilization. It sits so far out in the deep freeze that from its surface, the sun would look like just another bright star, in the sky perhaps the brightest star, but providing no warmth, no day, no comfort. At that distance, temperatures hover near absolute zero. It is a world of eternal night, likely a frozen gas giant similar to Neptune, but isolated in a loneliness we can barely comprehend. So, the obvious question, the question everyone asks is this: if it's so big, 10 times the size of Earth, why haven't we seen it? Why hasn't a telescope snapped a picture and ended the debate? The answer lies in the physics of light and distance. Planets don't create their own light, they reflect the sun's. But Planet 9 is potentially 600 times farther from the sun than Earth. The sunlight reaching it is vanishingly faint, and then, that tiny amount of light has to bounce off the planet and travel all the way back to us. By the time it arrives, it is millions of times fainter than the faintest stars visible to the naked eye. Finding it is like trying to find a black cat in a coal mine, at night, while looking through a straw, without knowing exactly where to look. The sky is enormous, and because Planet 9 moves so slowly, it looks exactly like a dim background star in a single photograph. To find it, you have to take multiple pictures, days or weeks apart, and look for the one tiny dot that shifted while the stars stayed still. We are hunting for a needle in a haystack, and the haystack is the entire southern hemisphere of the sky. But the hunt is narrowing. We know where its orbit must be to explain the gravity ghosts we are seeing. We just don't know where it is along that orbit. It could be close to perihelion, its nearest point to the sun, or it could be hiding at aphelion, its farthest point, lost in the deepest shadows of the galaxy. However, there is a darker, stranger possibility that some physicists have proposed. A theory that turns this from a planet hunt into something out of a science fiction horror story. What if we can't find it because it's not a planet at all? What if the object creating this gravity is something far more exotic, a primordial black hole? This theory fits the math just as well as a planet does. Primordial black holes are hypothetical objects formed in the first second after the Big Bang. Unlike the massive black holes formed from dying stars, these would be dense pockets of matter that collapsed before stars even existed. If Planet 9 is actually a black hole with a mass of 5 to 10 Earths, it wouldn't be a giant sphere, it would be tiny. The event horizon, the sphere of darkness from which nothing escapes, would be about the size of a grapefruit, or a bowling ball. Imagine that. An object with a gravity of 10 Earths, powerful enough to realign the solar system, but small enough to fit in your backpack. If it is a black hole, we will never see it with optical telescopes. It would be invisible against the blackness of space. It wouldn't reflect sunlight, but it wouldn't be undetectable. A black hole that size creates a mess. As it moves through the scattered gas and dust of the outer solar system, or if it impacts a small comet from the Oort cloud, it would rip that matter apart. As the matter falls into the hole, it heats up and releases flares of radiation. Gamma rays, X-rays. We wouldn't be looking for a wandering planet. We would be looking for a ghost light, sparks of high-energy particles appearing in the middle of nowhere. This theory is a long shot, but the fact that it is being discussed in serious academic papers shows how desperate we are to solve this riddle, because something is out there. The gravity doesn't lie. The existence of Planet 9 or Black Hole 9 would change everything we know about the architecture of our home. It would solve mysteries that have puzzled astronomers for decades. For example, the tilt of the Sun. The 8 known planets orbit in a relatively flat disk, like a record player, but the Sun sits in the middle of that disk, tilted at about 6 degrees. It looks like the Sun is leaning. For years, this made no sense. The Sun is too massive to be pushed around by Jupiter or Saturn. However, a massive Planet 9, on a highly inclined orbit, twisting on the outer edge of the system for billions of years, could provide the gravitational torque needed to tilt the entire solar system. It acts like a giant lever. Planet 9 explains why our solar system looks the way it does. It also raises profound questions about our past. Where did it come from? Did the Sun form with 5 gas giants instead of 4? Simulations of the early solar system suggest that Jupiter and Saturn were violent neighbors. Their gravity might have kicked a 5th giant planet out of the nest during a period of instability. Maybe that planet didn't leave the system entirely. Maybe it just got banished to the attic, and it's still there, watching us from the dark. Or perhaps the Sun stole it. The Sun was born in a cluster with thousands of other stars. It's possible that in the chaos of our birth, our gravity snagged a planet from a passing star. Planet 9 might be an alien world, an adopted child living in exile at the edge of our family. The search for Planet 9 is the final frontier of planetary exploration. We aren't sending ships there yet, we are sending our minds. We are using logic, mathematics, and the faintest whispers of light to map the unknown, and the clock is ticking on the mystery. A new generation of telescopes is coming online that will end the debate once and for all. The Vera Rubin Observatory in Chile is almost ready. This telescope is a beast. It has the largest digital camera ever built for astronomy. It will photograph the entire available sky every few nights, creating a time-lapse movie of the universe over 10 years. It can see faint objects moving that no other telescope can catch. If Planet 9 is out there, Vera Rubin won't just look for it. It will inevitably find it. It will catch the ghost. And if it finds nothing, if after 5 years of scanning with the most advanced technology in human history, we see empty space, then we have a crisis in physics. It would mean our understanding of gravity is wrong. It would mean the Kuiper Belt is stranger than we imagined, behaving in ways that defy Newton and Einstein. That would be a discovery in itself. But imagine the alternative. Imagine the moment the data comes in. The headline flashes across the world, NASA confirms 9th planet. We would have a new world to name, a new destination to dream about, a world that has been part of our family for 4.5 billion years, completely unknown to us. It would be a frozen, lonely, terrifying place, but it would be ours. It would prove that the age of discovery isn't over. It would prove that even in our own backyard, there are still giants waiting to be found. And it reminds us of a humbling truth. We think we are masters of our domain, but we are still like children playing in a sandbox, unaware of the vast ocean just over the hill. We live in a solar system that is bigger, stranger, and more crowded than we ever dared to believe. There's another planetor, a black hole in our solar system. We know its weight, we know its path, we know its power. Now, we just have to turn on the lights and find it. So, I have to ask you, what do you think is out there? Is it a frozen super-Earth waiting to be named? Is it a tiny ancient black hole eating comets in the dark? Or is it something we haven't even thought of yet? The data says something is pulling on us, and sooner or later, we are going to stare it in the face. Until then, keep looking up. The universe is full of secrets, and the biggest one might be right next door.